Hello and welcome to the AV-LAN video guide for the Onkyo TX-SR607 home cinema receiver. We're going to talk you through the features of this 607, its connections and how to set it up. The Onkyo TX-SR607 integrated home cinema receiver is the follow-up to the popular TX-SR606. It's the first AV receiver to feature the new Dolby Pro Logic 2Z, which adds front height speakers for added depth. It's got a new curved fascia, which you can see as we zoom into the front. Rated at 140 watts per channel. It's actually got 6 HDMI inputs. You can see this is somewhat simplified front design, with the lower navigational buttons raised up to just beneath the large screen on the front. Moving in now, you can see there's the power button, the on standby button, the pure audio, the headphone sockets and the auxiliary 6 HDMI input on the front. Moving across, you've got the input selection buttons and your navigational buttons above those now. And then there's the cursors for navigating the menus, the volume control, the front AV input with a 3.5mm input and the setup mic. Moving to the rear now, see a familiar layout from the those of you familiar with the previous AV-LAN video guides. There's the 5 HDMI inputs on the top with one out. There's the optical and coaxial inputs. You've got the component inputs, something like a 360. First thing you'll notice here as well, there's not actually S-video inputs anymore. They've dispensed with those just for composites. You've got the dual subwoofer output there with the Zone 2 line out. That's the universal ports for the new Onkyo UPA1 iPod docking station and the DAB Plus module. Those are stackable, so you don't have to choose which one to use. You can use both. Now I'm going to show you how to set up the rear 4 banana plugs. So just if you need to take the bungs out the back, just use a small screw to drive that in. You can see we just pull those out there. It's quite simple. They just pop out quite easily, and then just take your 4mm banana plug, as you can see here, and just slot it in. Okay, now we're going to take you under the lid of the Onkyo TX-SR607. Moving into the inside of the Onkyo TX-SR607, you can see there is the high current power supply. Split the moving into it, there we go, just there, and then just down to the right at the front of the unit you can see the large heatsink just there. Just behind that we've got this main capacitors and the amplification boards. If we just move back now, you can see the HDMI video board. If you look carefully there, you can actually see approaching from the left hand side of the screen now, there's an actual HDMI cable which connects the HDMI video board to that front AV input. And then we're just focusing now on the back of the speaker terminals. Just drive across. And then to the menus of the unit now. First one's the input assign, so you just want to take which HDMI input you want to look at for which input. So if you want to hook your Blu-ray player into HDMI 1, just assign this input to HDMI 1, and then the same thing goes for the component video. Obviously we've just got the 2 inputs for that, and then the digital audio is the same. And moving out of there, we're going into the speaker setup. Speaker settings is just quite simple. It's just the impedance of the speaker, the type of speaker, whether you're bi-amping, so if you're using those extra 2 channels, and then whether you're using the Zone 2 for the surround back, if you're using it for the front height speakers of Dolby Pro Logic 2Z, or if you're just going to use them for Zone 2. Moving out into the speaker configuration, this is where you set up the crossovers for each of your speaker. The subwoofer, whether you're using full range speakers or satellites. And you can also set up here for Dolby Pro Logic 2Z, which you'll see it will appear as another set of speakers above the front speakers on the display. And it's in 10 Hz increments as the crossover setup, as you just saw there. And, so you see those front high speakers in there, and turn the double bass order off, so the front speakers basically will go into the subwoofer as well. Obviously that's if you're using full band, as they call them here, or just large speakers, most people would call them. Move back out of here, next is the speaker distance, and it's fairly self-explanatory. You can change that to feet or meters, and then you want to set the distance from your listening position, and that's in 30cm increments. Out of that you've got level calibration, where you can boost or reduce the levels of each speaker again, depending on your listening position, you want to try and get a nice even volume level between all speakers. And then the equalisation settings, you've got off and manual, and then the vague, the manual options per channels. Moving out of here, going into the audio adjust menu. The multiplex and mono is output channels for stereo, using the main and the sub. And then on mono, if you just wanted to output just the left, just the right, or the left and the right. And then your different settings for Dolby Pro Logic 2 and DTS. And the theatre dimensional menu, which you'll see shortly, is just setting up the listening angle, whether it's a wide or a narrow angle. There we go. And into the source setup, just depending on each source, you've got IntelliVolume volume, so set volume per input you're on. So if you've got a particularly quiet input, you can boost that slightly, or if this one's just feeding a louder signal, you can reduce it. And then lip sync, which is done in 10 millisecond increments, per input. And then you can also edit the name. So example, if you wanted to say DVB-D 606 or a PS3 or Sky HD, you could enter that here. Into the listening mode preset, you select your desired input, and then you can force the unit into different playback modes depending on the signal received. So from Dolby Digital, you might want to set it as certain DSP modes for gaming, if you were feeding the signal from an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3. And last valid will use whatever unit mode was used when the signal was last received. We'll just pop back out of there now into the miscellaneous settings. First off is volume setup, so you can set the maximum volume for the unit if you don't want it to go particularly loud, or you can use, and then the power and volume, which on last will be the last known setting used. So if you were listening to a film that was quite loud the night before, it will turn on again at that. But you can change this so it comes on at a lower level. And then the on-screen display setup, volume details where they appear on the screen, and you obviously set your TV format. That will actually affect after you turn the amp off and on again. Into the hardware setup, the remote ID in case you're using multiple Onkyo units, which are conflicting with the remote controls. And the HDMI settings, are you sending the audio to the television if you've got some TV speakers. And the lip sync functions, which again we saw earlier as well. And then the remote control, the HDMI control functions, and you can see how the different ones affect that if you want it to be controlled through the TV or just through the power. And then there's the remote control setup where you can actually program certain buttons on the remote control. You can see here, so you go into, say you want to hit the TV button, and it's a television is what we want to do, and then you can set your different brand in there, so you can put like a Pioneer or Panasonic TV in there and teach you some codes, and then just lock setup and to keep others from changing your settings, like children maybe. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video guide to the Onkyo TX-SR607 home cinema amplifier. If you'd like to see the rest of the Onkyo range or to watch some more video reviews, please visit our website www.avland.co.uk. Thanks very much.